I've learnt an awful lot in the last year about this process, about legalisation, about the effects of prohibition. We all know prohibition doesn't work. We all know that it is quite damaging, actually, and it needs to stop. But I think talking to lots of people in this industry, especially those in the States and Canada who've been doing this for longer than we have, there's some really interesting points that have come out. I think the first one was that in the States, they never really had a medicinal cannabis industry. It was a bit of a free-for-all. They legalized it. And people can now grow, produce and make whatever products they like, which is great in some ways, but there isn't really any quality control. And the research hasn't really been done into how the cannabinoids, it hasn't left an option to do the research into how the cannabinoids are working because it's an open market, so it's not necessary. Canada went a step further and 5 or 6 years ago legalized medicinal cannabis only and made it accessible. And they had an amazing uptake, of patients having great success with it. And it was so successful that in the end the Canadian government made it legal for recreational use, what they call the rec market, which again is wonderful for some people, but the downside to that is that it killed the medicinal cannabis industry. The quality control went out the window and the need to do research and understand how they're working died because there was no incentive in it anymore because they didn't need to prove it to the point of giving it to patients or people. And I think that's where Australia is in a really unique position because we've now got medicinal cannabis available. We have some of the smartest, doctors and researchers in the world, and we're one of the wealthiest countries in the world with a lot of space as well. So from there, we could actually really kind of fly the flag of medicinal cannabis and keep it tightly regulated, keep it only open for prescription, and then use that to drive the research and to drive the knowledge, and then really spend the next 10 years doing the work that needs to be done to really collect the evidence and prove how it's working, what it's working for, and what it's doing. And then we've done something really, really good for everyone on the planet, basically. And I think on the other side of it, some of the laws around cannabis use in this country are probably a bit draconian and probably need to be assessed, Again, it goes back to prohibition. Prohibition doesn't work. So having a new way of looking at it, having a tightly regulated medicinal cannabis market prescribed by doctors using highly potent medicines is one side of it. And then there's another side of it where maybe people can have slightly less strict rules to access for their own use. I don't know how that would look, but that's probably where it should go. And then it keeps everyone happy and it keeps the motivation to do the research there.